Hello students, welcome you all. This is the ninth lecture of the topic called matrices. Today, let me start with invertible matrices. Before I start with invertible matrices, students, I hope your notes are ready from the previous videos. On the basis of those videos, I have given some assignment questions for 1 mark. These questions will appear in the exam in the part A section for 1 mark. The first question, define a scalar matrix, which is a very important question which will be given in the examination for 1 mark. Next, define a diagonal matrix. Third question is define identity matrix. Define transpose of a matrix. Define symmetric and skew symmetric matrices. Dear students, all these definitions are given in the first video. If you have written the notes, you will find these definitions in your first video. Let me take the sixth question. If a matrix has 5 elements, what are the possible orders it can have? And if a matrix has 24 elements, what are the possible orders it can have? And the eighth question, construct a 2 cross 2 matrix whose elements are given by Aij is equal to 2i minus j. Second problem, Aij is equal to I plus j the whole square divided by 2. Third example, Aij is equal to I plus 2j divided by 2. And Aij is equal to mod of minus 3i plus j divided by 2. My dear students, all these examples we have done and solve these assignments questions. Now today, let me begin with new part called inverse of a square matrix or invertible matrices, or it is called invertible matrices. Let me begin with the definition of invertible matrix. If A is a square matrix of any order, say M, and if there exists another square matrix of the same order, that is B is a square matrix of the same order, such that AB is equal to BA and that is equal to I. In such case, the matrix B is called the inverse of matrix A. And that inverse of a matrix A is denoted by B is equal to A to the power minus 1. In such case, we can say that A is a invertible matrix or A inverse exists. For example, by the definition, it is said A and B are two square matrices of the same order. Let me find the product AB. Dear students, you know how to find the product of two matrices. That is already we have done it here. AB is equal to a matrix containing the elements 1, 0, 0, 1. And such matrix is called an unit matrix or identity matrix. And let me denote it by the equation number 1. Similarly, we can find BA by multiplying the first matrix B to the second matrix. It gives again a unit matrix I and denoted by the equation number 2. From 1 and 2, we can say that AB is equal to BA and both are is equal to matrix I, then the matrix B is called the inverse of A, and it is denoted by B is equal to A to the power minus 1. Or also we can say that A is the inverse of B, and it is written as A is equal to B to the power minus 1. Before we solve the problems on inverse of a matrix, one should know the elementary operations or transformations of a matrix. There are 6 operations or transformations on a matrix, 3 of which due to the rows and 3 due to columns. Both the row and column operations I have written in 3 elementary operations of a matrices. We will study one by one. The first algebraic operation, that is elementary operations of a matrix, is the interchanging any two rows are denoted by Ri replaced by Rj or Rj is replaced by Ri. That is, any row can be replaced by some other row. R stands for rows and I and J stands for the number of rows. That is, suppose if I is 1, J is 2, then first row is replaced by the second row and second row is replaced by what it is? First row. This operation is due to the row operation. Similarly, the same operation we can perform on the column, or Ci is replaced by Cj or Cj is replaced by Ci. In this case, C stands for column. The first column is replaced by the second column and the second column is replaced by the first column. This is the first algebraic operation, or we can say the transformation of a matrix. Let me take the second operation. The multiplication of the element of any row or any column by a non-zero constant is denoted by Ri is replaced by k times the same row, or Ci is replaced by k times any row can be multiplied by a non-zero constant, or any column can be multiplied by any non-zero constant. That is written as Ri is replaced by k times Ri and Ci is replaced by k times Ci. Dear students, we will move to the last operation, elementary operation of a matrix. The addition to the elements of any row, the corresponding elements of the some other row is multiplied by a non-zero constant and it is denoted by Ri or R1 is replaced by R1 plus k times the second row, or R2 is replaced by R2 plus k times R1. Due to the columns also we can write the same operation. C1 is replaced by C1 plus k times C2. C1 is replaced by C1 plus k times C2, or C2 is replaced by C2 times or C2 plus k times C1. With the help of these operations, one can find the inverse of any square matrix. Therefore, these operations will help you to find the inverse of a square matrices. And this is an important question for the exam point of view. The problems on the elementary transformation of a matrix will be given for 3 marks. Before I solve the problems on the elementary transformation of a matrix, my dear students, Today we are going to learn few theorems. But before I go to the theorems, here is a one note. Here we can understand why the inverse of a matrix exists. Before I write that, we will read the first note. A rectangular matrix does not possess inverse matrix. My dear students, as you know, the rectangular matrix means the order of the matrix it is not a square matrix. It is, for example, 2 cross 3, 3 cross 2 or 1 cross 2. Such matrices are called a rectangular matrices, and the inverse of a rectangular matrix does not possess, because product AB and BA to be defined and to be equal, and it is not possible in case of rectangular matrices. Therefore, to find the inverse of any square matrix, the matrix must be a square. It should not be a rectangular matrix. Moving to the next note. If B is the inverse of A, then obviously A is also the inverse of B, meaning A and B both are inverse of each other. And the last point, the inverse of a square matrix. If it exists, then inverse of a square matrix is always a unique. Any square matrix has a unique inverse. It does not have more than one inverses. Therefore, such a theorem is also called uniqueness of a inverse of a square matrix. Let me define inverse of a square matrix. Let A be a square matrix of order n. Then there is one more square matrix B such that AB and BA both are equal to I. Then B is called the inverse of A. If AB is equal to BA and that is equal to I, then B is called the inverse of A, or A is the inverse of B. And it is denoted by A to the power minus 1. That is, B is equal to A to the power minus 1. If B is A to the power minus 1, then the above equation becomes A into B. B means A inverse. As we know that A into A inverse is always equal to I. Or B is nothing but A inverse into A, that is also equal to I. Therefore, if A into A inverse or A inverse into A both are inverse of each other, then their product is always a unit matrix I. In such case, we can say that the inverse of a matrix exists. Now moving to the important theorem called uniqueness of a square matrix or uniqueness of inverse. Theorem number 3. Inverse of a square matrix, if it exists, then it is a unique. As I told you in the previous note, if A has an inverse and it exists, then it has a unique inverse. It has no more than one inverses. To prove this theorem, let me begin with the proof. Let A be any square matrix of order m. Since I want to show that A has a unique inverse, let me start with let B and C be two inverses of a matrix A. And let me prove that both are equal. If I show B and C both are equal, then we can say that A has a unique inverse. To prove this, my dear students, we are starting with A has two inverses, matrix B and C. And let me show that our intention to prove that B and C both are equal. Let me begin with the definition. That is, by the definition we can say that since B is the inverse of matrix A, then by this definition we can say AB is equal to BA, which is also equal to I, denoted by equation number 1. Similarly, by the same definition, since C is also the inverse of A, then by the definition of the inverse of a square matrix, AC is equal to CA, and that gives again a unit matrix I. Let me denote this as an equation number 2. Thus, let me write B is equal to, we can write B as B into any unit matrix of the same order. Therefore, B is equal to, from equation number 2, our I is nothing but AC matrix. Since matrices are associative, we can regroup these brackets and then we can write BA into C. But the BA from the first equation number 1 is again I into C, and any matrix into identity matrix is also a same matrix. Therefore, we have B is equal to C. We can say that both are equal. Therefore, any square matrix A has a unique inverse. My dear students, we have started with the two inverses and we are proving that both are equal. Meaning is any square matrix has a unique inverse. Next theorem, theorem number 4, which is an important for the exam point of view. It was told twice in the annual examination, which is for 3-mark question. Students, you have to practice this theorem, which is important for the exam point of view. Let A and B are invertible matrices, means inverse of both the matrix exist and both are of the same order. Then let me show that AB the whole inverse is always equal to B inverse A inverse. AB the whole inverse is always equal to B inverse into A inverse. It is not equal to A inverse into B inverse. This is not true. This is false. You have to show that AB the whole inverse is always equal to B inverse A inverse. To prove that AB the whole inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse, let me begin with the definition of inverse of a matrix. From the definition of an inverse of a matrix, we have AB into AB the whole inverse is always equal to I. As we have seen in the definition, A into A inverse is always equal to I. By this definition, dear students, we are writing AB is our A and AB the whole inverse is our A inverse. Since I want to prove that AB the whole inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse, I am taking AB into AB the whole inverse is always equal to I. Now pre-multiplying both the sides by A inverse, we are pre-multiplying by A inverse on both the sides. Therefore, we have A inverse into AB the whole inverse is equal to A inverse into I. By the definition of associativity, since matrices are associative, we can regroup the matrix. Therefore, I can write A into A inverse into matrix B into AB the whole inverse is always equal to A inverse, because we know that any matrix into unit matrix is always equal to the same matrix. Therefore, here we can write A inverse into A into B into AB the whole inverse is equal to A inverse. As we have seen in the definition of inverse of a matrix, A inverse into A is always equal to matrix I into matrix B into AB the whole inverse, and that is equal to A inverse. But again we know I into B is always equal to B. AB the whole inverse is equal to A inverse. Once again, to show that B inverse A inverse, we will pre-multiply both the sides by B to the power minus 1. Therefore, B to the power minus 1 into B into AB the whole inverse is equal to the right hand side also we will multiply it by B inverse A inverse. This is equal to, by the definition of the inverse of a matrix, B inverse into B is always equal to I into AB inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse. But AB the whole inverse into I is always equal to AB the whole inverse. That is, any matrix into I that gives the same matrix, that is AB the whole inverse, is equal to B inverse A inverse. Hence, here we can say that AB the whole inverse is always equal to B inverse A inverse. Dear students, this is a very important theorem which is very easy. If you practice 2-3 times, you can represent this theorem very easily in the examination. Before I conclude this session, I would like to suggest you keep your notes ready and you can solve the assignment questions in the FAIR notebook. With this, I conclude my today's lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to solve the problems on invertible matrices, which are very important for the exam point of view. For any queries, contact the given below number. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.